Hi, my name is Alexandra McDermott, and I'm going to be doing the bed bath and peri-care skill. So the first thing I would do is knock on my resident's door, and I would state my name. Hi, my name is Alex, and I'm your CNA, and I'm here to help give you a bed bath because a doctor has ordered me to do so. And then the next thing I would do is provide for privacy by closing the window, closing the door, and pulling the curtain, and I would wash my hands, and then I would approach the resident. So I know this resident is Miss Johnson because I've had her before as my resident, but if I didn't, I could use her wristband as an identifier, or I could just look at her care chart, which would either be posted on the wall or in the bathroom, depending on the room style. And so I'm going to ask Miss Johnson, is it okay if I give you a bed bath today? And she agreed. And so I'm just going to make sure she doesn't have any lesions or anything visible wrong with her. And I'm going to ask her, are you experiencing any pain today? Or any sort of things that would hinder your bed bath. And since she says no, we're going to proceed to give her a bed bath. So the first thing I would do is fill up her water and make sure it's at a temperature that's comfortable for her. And I have actually gathered my materials. I have 2 towels and 2 different washcloths. Well, we're going to switch for peri-cares. And so I would ask her to test the water. And since she said that it's a good temperature, we can proceed. So I'm going to start with her face. And before I do so, I'm going to apply some clean gloves. And now that I put on my clean gloves, I can proceed to wash her face. So I'm just going to take my towel and wrap it around my hand as so. I'm going to start with her eyes, cleaning from the insides outward and switching different parts of the towel for different parts of her face. We'll do her forehead, we'll get her cheek over here, and her other cheek, we'll do her chin. And now I'm going to dry her face in the same way I did. So we'll just take this towel and we'll dry outward, switching parts of the towel. Her forehead, and her cheeks, and her chin. Okay. And the next thing we're going to do is her abdomen area, so I'm going to expose that. And so Miss Johnson, I'm going to expose your chest now because I need to wash that part of it. And so we can actually pull these down because her gown is right here. I'm going to expose her chest. We'll just do this side first, and then I'll go to the other side. So once again, I'll put my washcloth in. I'm just going to wash her chest, and around her breast, and get down in her stomach a little bit. And wash her other breast. Dry her off as quickly as possible, just to try and make sure she's not exposed for that long. Right. We'll cover her back up, and then we can actually expose her arm, and we're going to wash her arm and her armpit. So Miss Johnson, I'm just going to wash your arm right here. You might hold her arm for support, washing downwards. Look at this side a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to get her armpit. So I'm going to support her arm here and gently wash inside of her armpit. And then we'll dry that off as well. Fingers. And I would do so to her other arm. And now we're going to wash her legs. So, like before, we're only going to expose the part of her that's necessary to clean. So I'm just going to expose this leg right here. And I'll go from her ankle up to her knee. wash dry that off. And then I'm going to go from her knee up to her thigh. We'll dry that off as well. And now, Miss Johnson, we're actually going to do your peri-cares. And so for this, I'm going to try to keep her covered as much as possible, but if she's able to, and she is, I'm going to prop her legs up like so. And we'll actually just drape this over her for protection. And at this point, I would change my gloves, but to not waste a bunch of gloves right now, I'm just going to use the same pair, but I would change my gloves at this point and wash my hands in between. And so what we're going to do is, since she's like this, we're going to make sure we clean with a different washcloth and a different towel. So I have my new clean towel, or washcloth and towel, and I use this other one to cover her up. I'm going to get it in the water, and we're just going to make sure when we're cleaning the peri area for the female that we're cleaning from the front to the back. So we're just going to clean each side of the labia and just going front to back, making sure we can get all of it as clean as possible. And we're just using a different part of the washcloth when we do so. Okay, and then we'll dry her off same way. We always start with the peri area first, because we don't want to get any germs in the front area. And if it was a male, I would start at the tip of his penis in a circular motion, and then I would clean down his shaft, and then I would clean his testicles, going again from the front to the back instead of the back to the front. And so I'm going to actually lift a side rail up. We'll go on this side, and I'm going to assist the resident to lean over to one side. Do this side rail up. And since she can turn from me, we're going to ask you, Miss Johnson, to turn to this side just so I can clean your buttocks. And so we're going to help her turn. Okay. And since she is able to hold on right here and help me out, this is fine. We can even put a towel under here. I have an extra one to make sure it doesn't drip onto her bed, but she might have some sort of chuck underneath anyways. And so, like we did before, we're going to clean from the front to the back. From the front to the back, and that looks clean. And then we'll dry it off as so. Okay. We'll remove this. And at this point, I would put all those other linens in the dirty linen container. But for the purpose of this, I'm just going to leave these right here. I would put them in the dirty linen container, though. And so now, Miss Johnson, are you feeling comfortable and clean, and are you all dry? And she says yes. So we're going to cover her back up. Her bed. You can lower her side rail again because she doesn't normally have side rails, so it would actually be a restraint here if we kept this up. So we'll lower her other side rail. Give her a call light. Just lower her side rail. Okay, Ms. Johnson, is there anything else I can get for you? And since there's not, I'd make sure her bed is locked, and then I would wash out her basin, put her laundry in the dirty laundry container, remove my gloves, and I would be done.